The US faces economic disaster. What we are looking at today is more debt that can ever be paid back no matter what changes. You could take 100% of individuals' taxation and you would still not have even close to enough to pay for this mess. There are $7 trillion of debt that have been accumulated under Obama, and this is the public figures. So imagine how much worse it really is. You could see it for yourself in the chart. You probably can't see the numbers at the bottom, but that's first one there is 1970, and you could see that's approximately the time that Nixon pulled the US off the gold standard, or the remains of the gold standard, and there it is. The chart just accelerates at such an exponential rate that has never been seen before. You know that more debt has actually been accumulated in this time under Obama than was under the first 227 years of the US existence here, the 1776 through 2003. That's unbelievable. I mean, I know times have changed. There's inflation, there's all sorts of things, but you're going to accumulate more debt in just a few years than 227 years. Something doesn't smell right. Let's get into some of the issues. Americans got $2 trillion in government benefits in 2013 alone. And you can see the breakdown here for yourself. And basically you're talking about trillions of dollars being given out. Much of this is unfunded liabilities. Here you have Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, all of this stuff. It cannot be paid back. It's simply impossible. And the US government knows this, but their only objective is to keep it going until the next election. And that's why they continue to put things like Social Security off the books, because they would officially have to go bankrupt right away. They would have to call default. They would have to be just like Argentina and other countries, and they would have to renegotiate all of their debt. But of course, as long as they have the Federal Reserve to be the lender of last resort, everything keeps on moving. I talked about this in my book, quoting Bill Gross. I'm sure you know him from PIMCO, and what he said was that unless entitlements are substantially reformed, I'm confident that this country will default on its debt. And then I said right here is that unless they're going to reduce the amount they're paying out for Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and the off-balance sheet figures, the U.S. is doomed. And that is undoubtedly going to happen if they do not stop what they're doing now. Now, if they do pull out on things like Social Security and Medicare, Medicaid, you're going to have mass riots in the streets. That is untold, undoubtable, because simply they require this. The individuals are dependent on the system. There are 100 million people on food assistance, and so on and so forth. So without these really safety nets there to support them, they're going to be in big trouble. You're going to have riots. More companies are closing than opening. This is what the trouble comes, because a country can be in debt as long as other countries are buying up the debt, as long as there's a continued base of manufacturing, as long as there is productivity. But we have a big problem right now. In the US, more companies are closing than opening, and this is because of increased regulations, increased taxation. They figure, why wouldn't I open my company in another country, and if I want, I can export to the US, and the taxes will be much more favorable for me. And that's what a lot of them are doing, and that is quite unfortunate, and it's going to mean a big disaster for the future as countries open up in the third world and they exploit the cheap labor there, and they're simply not able to open up in the Western nations anymore. Home ownership rate for the Americans under 35 peaked in 2004. So you have years and years of home ownership for the young individuals basically declining. And what that means is that individuals don't have enough money to buy their own house because they are basically too cash strapped. They are much indebted. So it's not just the nation that's indebted, the national debt. It is individual debt. It's student loans. It's all sort of other types of debt that I continue to cover here, and explaining to you basically that without the real base of manufacturing with individuals in debt, you have a disaster waiting to happen. So the question is, do you keep your money in the system that is a ticking time bomb? I'll leave that up to you. You decide. And I would just let you know that I appreciate all the comments that I've been getting. I'm trying to get back to everyone that I possibly can, replying to all the emails. Thank you very much. If you want to become an insider, that's all the best intel. It's totally free, and it's at themoneygps.com. You scroll down to the bottom, you fill in your email address, and you get occasional emails from me.